And moving on to business from the City Council. Councilmember Ditball.
We had the Regional Housing Authority meeting last week, and we went ahead and approved the executive director, so he's now officially on board, and that's Gus Vaccaro. So I believe, Steve, you know him. So that was the main reason of that meeting. It was a very short meeting, but we needed to go ahead and establish that. The other meeting was the Yuba City Transit meeting, and there it was usual business, but one of the items that we did discuss was future advertisement because the rides are lower now. People are not using it as much, so we're probably going to work on some type of marketing to get that out there again. So they're working on an updated plan. And those were as far as the meetings. And I do want to say that we have Summer at City Hall students present today. They will be holding their mock city council meeting on Thursday, so they wanted to actually observe a city council meeting and see how it runs. They've been doing phenomenal in the last 2 weeks. This is their last week. Their graduation is also on Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock. It's open to the public. They will be provided certifications of completion of the program and get their credit for school, as well as Senator Nielsen's going to be here to also represent. So these are our students in the corner.
And acting Madam Mayor, you see some of the ways not to do this. So I've given you some examples. I hope you wrote those down, that you don't just jump past things and don't make smart comments when people are leaving and things like that. So.
The temptation of the food back there.
Moving on to Councilmember Dukes.
Have one item to report on, mosquito vector meeting last week, gearing up this year for the mosquito season, and they're out busy putting in mosquito fish in the rice fields and the briquettes in the storm drains to get rid of mosquitoes that have wintered over in our community. And so they're doing well, and looking at that it could be a very busy season, but just remind people when you're out in the evening is to wear long sleeves, and if you're not, put on some type of repellent. Thank you.
Moving to Councilmember Gill.
Don't have much to report. We do have our meeting, which was postponed to this week, or pushed back to this week for the Sutter Beach Flood Control Agency. Packed meeting tomorrow, a lot of various items, as well as awarding the contract for the final 6 miles of levee. So I believe you'll be joining us at that meeting tomorrow.
1:30.
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor Cleveland.
As far as meetings, I only had one this last week, and that was the Transit Authority. Councilmember Ditball did a great job on reporting that ridership is down, and we are going to be advertising, trying to get ridership up. Any of the students, there's a discount, $6 is what it is for them, I think, for the month. So that's a cheap way to get around town, and some of the routes are pretty direct. For where you want to go, at least make your walking less if that's the case. Other than that, we had the Yuba City stroll, or the Yuba City stroll this last Saturday, and it was very wonderful weather. And a lot of people, they said, as you probably saw in the paper, they estimated 15,000 showed up, and believe me, there was probably 15,000 throughout that time. It was very enjoyable. And that's one of our community events that we all need to remember to get out and walk around, meet your friends, and have a lot of good time. I saw you there someplace for some reason.
I was hanging around. North end of the street, I still can't hear. There was a band,
that band
3 stalls away from me, so, and I can't hear out of my left ear now. So I attended the Sacramento Area Council of Governments meeting on Thursday. And regular board meeting, really nothing to report out of that. Following that, we had our innovation task force, and a number of great discussion items came out of that. This is a body that comes together of a small segment of the 29 directors come together, about 12 of us come together and look for ways to consolidate government. How can we use and leverage an organization that collects data and does deep analysis of things like miles driven and air quality and all of the data that they collect at SACOG, and then also are the collector of funding for transit and other things that we take advantage of as one of six. There's 6 counties, and again, there's 29 agencies involved, cities and counties involved in the Sacramento Area Council of Government. So we looked at a number of things, and certainly want to enhance some of our ability to provide for a more robust process to allow staff to work, our staff here at Yuba City or Sacramento, to either work together on certain aspects in a money savings effort, and then certainly allowing the elected officials that represent on that board to be the policy makers and decision makers, but allow the staff level from the various agencies to be able to interact and come through with processes that ultimately save time, save money, save resources for our community. So there's a number of things that were discussed and brought forward, and part of that's our air quality standards that we have to meet, and a little more robust collection of data, and then also looking at some enhancement in analysis directly towards homelessness in our area. One of the issues that we have with the homeless issue, and the state of California is trying to throw $2 billion at that project. But one of the problems is identifying exactly how you're going to make that impact. Where is the impact going to be made, and what are the best use of dollars to be able to do that when one out of approximately 25% of the population has mental illness issues, and about 50% have substance abuse issues that come into play that perpetuate the homeless issue. So what we're looking at is a way that we can collect that data but not over-collect or duplicate numbers. So it's going to be a verifiable system in which we'll be able to start looking in our region at a homeless or the homeless issues, along with other things that come forward. But that's our first data trial is going to be probably centered directly on the homeless issue. But there's a lot of other data sets that we can bring into this. So we hope that it will be a supportive mechanism for our staff, and certainly as we go through planning processes and everything else, that this will be something that will work for us. Attended the waste management meeting, the RWMA, and simply the majority of our work was done just in passing the authority's budget for the year. So that was also last Thursday afternoon. It's where I ran from meeting with you all and off to the next meeting. So with that, we will adjourn tonight's meeting.